from the wall.
换声音。
I decided to study psychology here because I'm interested in the mind and in science, and it's just a very interesting subject. It gives you a model for understanding things, but also it gives you a very good perspective of how to understand things scientifically.
I thought it was really interesting to see how other people behave in certain situations and why that is. It's all about the why with psychology. It's like, why does this happen? And I think it gives you a better understanding of people in general.
My name is Richard and I'm a mature student studying psychology here in Greenwich. With my degree, I've been thinking about specialising in 3 different things. I want to do counselling and therapy. I'm also going to have the tools to do data analysis with these statistics modules that I've learned here, and hopefully do some research as well.
I'm Magda, I'm studying psychology of counselling and I'm in my final year. After graduating from university, I hope to do a master's in therapeutic counselling. So I hope to sort of train to be a counsellor, maybe go into like schools or whatever career choices there are really, because there's quite a lot. Obviously mental health is like a really big thing, and I think the university is like really supportive when it comes to mental health as well. And that's another good thing about Greenwich, is you always feel supported.
I think our society is in a real need for change and for positive change, and psychology offers that opportunity for people to support others in terms of mental health, in terms of well-being, in terms of fulfilling potential and flourishing. So I think it is a very exciting career and subject area to study. Here at the University of Greenwich, we are very well positioned to help students with their very first building blocks in this amazing career by offering very good foundation modules and also more advanced modules in diverse fields within psychology.
So when I went to like the open days and the taster day, it just put a really good vibe out there. I just thought, yeah, this is the place for me.
Greenwich has a range of very qualified researchers in very different and interesting subjects, and also they did counselling as an adjunct module to psychology, which a lot of other universities don't do.
So we have the BSc Psychology program, which is our broader psychology program, and with that students will have the opportunity to learn from the very building blocks of psychology to a range of different areas of specialism, and that will give them a very important broad view of psychology as a field for them to make their career choice at a later point. We also have the BSc Psychology with Counselling, which will have a bit more of a focus on counselling and mental health, helping these students to become more and more prepared for a career in clinical psychology or counselling settings. We also have the forensic pathway, supporting the legal system and working with the police, for example. That we have the BSc Business Psychology, so it has more of a focus on organizations and well-being and occupational psychology, and finally on sports psychology as well. So there is something for everyone here. On top of that, if you already have a university degree, you could consider applying for an MSc in psychology, and that takes 1 year full-time or 2 years part-time, and that will make you eligible for membership with the British Psychological Society as well.
I just think it's really interesting. There's so many different like sections to it and different like fields of study.
Going to university, it's great for like socializing and meeting new people and considering perspectives you otherwise wouldn't necessarily consider, and they have a lot of events here.
Our campus is arguably the most beautiful university campus in London, with great facilities, parks. We're surrounded by historical buildings and amazing facilities to support teaching and learning in our university.
I live in London, so it's very convenient to get to. Not only is the university accessible, but it's also close to accessible transport.
Oh, I just think the campus is really, really pretty. It's quite local to me as well, so it was like, oh, okay, like, that's great. I've made some really good friends here. My course mates are my main mates. They're really interested, like we've been through sort of everything together, like all the deadlines, but also all the really fun times.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. How are you guys doing? Hope all of you are doing fine there. I'm Unita. Before we begin, I'd like to do a quick technical check. Can everyone hear and see me clearly? If you can hear and see me clearly, type yes or yay in the chat box if you can. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Shannon. I'd also like to do a quick technical check. So if everyone can see and hear me clearly, type yes in the chat box. Thank you.
Yes, since everyone can hear us clearly and see us, let's begin. So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining the forum today. Welcome to our sixth webinar of Expressive Arts Exhibition. There are two moderators for today's session, myself, Unita, and Shannon. We are both psychology students. Welcome to this live webinar titled The Arts of Storytelling, brought to you by the Psychology Department's Department of City College, Subang Jaya.
All right, so I'll be giving a quick briefing to everyone before we start. So this is our sixth webinar for the Expressive Art Exhibition initiated by the School of Psychology at Segi College, Subang Jaya. So you are welcome to participate in our virtual exhibition by submitting any type of creative artwork, which will be displayed on our Instagram and Facebook page. We are still open for submissions, so do participate and keep yourself updated by following us on our Facebook and Instagram page. Moving on with our forum for today, is titled The Art of Storytelling, that highlights the objective, which is the impact of storytelling on children. And it also focuses on storytelling as a basic communication tool to express oneself that helps to promote good mental health. So this session is also being streamed on our YouTube channel, and this session would approximately take us about 1 hour for the forum and about half an hour or so for the activity. So don't forget to stay behind for all the fun activities and be able to receive a participation certificate. So we are expecting to have a more interactive session where you are encouraged to share your thoughts and questions while the speakers are presenting. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat box below, and it will be answered at the end of the forum during the Q&A session. So I would also like to inform you that this session is being recorded and will be used by Segi University and colleges in the future.
Yes. So now, are you guys ready for the forum? If you guys are all ready, then type hooray in the chat box or comment section. Shannon, are you ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. All right. Let's dive in. Okay.
All right. So since everyone's ready, let's go ahead and meet our speakers for today. We have two speakers for today's session. Our first speaker is Puan Samsu Kamaria binti Hamza, who is also known as Umi. So she is a storyteller and retired chief librarian. She has also been a storyteller ever since 1990. She is also a grandmother to 3 grandkids.
All right. So next is Puan Norlina. She's the co-founder of Inspiracom, which is a social enterprise. She's also a certified communication of development practitioner, C4D. Puan Norlina has over 20 years of experience as a marketing communications professional in the corporate world. Since 2018, she helps children and youths, especially Orang Asli and B40 communities, to be active citizens and lifelong learners to make good life choices to be future ready. So, hi Umi and hi Puan Norlina. How are you guys doing?
Hi guys, how's your day?
Good afternoon.
Are you guys excited to conduct the forum?
Oh, yes. Oh.
Yes, we are all as excited as how you are. So now let's move on to our first question. So now let's start off with Umi with the first question. What is storytelling? But sorry, before that, we are having a YouTube live streaming going on. So if you have your friends, you can share the link around. We will put the link in the chat box below. And now let's move on to our forum. Let's start off with Umi with the first question. What is storytelling?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Wow. Thank you, Sagi, for giving me this opportunity to share what is storytelling. Well, storytelling is, what can I say? Storytelling is a way of communication, actually. We started off with storytelling. In fact, storytelling, it started off from even we are in the womb, still soon.
Sorry, Umi, we can't hear you clearly.
Oh, you can hear me? All right, all right. So now, can you? Okay.
can, but it's quite soft. It's quite softer compared to earlier.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I covered the speaker. All right. So now, can you hear me clearly? Can you?
Okay,
Not really.
it's better a bit. It's better a bit.
It's better a bit. Wait. Let me pull it to the front.
Yeah, it's better now, Umi. It's fine now. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Okay. So storytelling is it is all in us, in everybody, in the whole wide world. All right. Every day we have stories to tell. And if we were to say storytelling, it describes the social and cultural activity of sharing stories. All right. When we say social and cultural activities, socially, uh, those in those days, yeah, where we don't have entertainment like we do have now. We have TV, yeah, we have a phone where we can communicate, where we can tell stories and whatnot. But in those days, this is one of the social activities. Yeah, for instance, uh, after harvesting, yeah, for instance, after harvesting, the whole day they are so tired working in the field, so at night they will just have this social gathering where they gather around and then they tell stories, and classically in Malaysia itself, we do have this penglipur lara, and we have also the storytelling of the wayang kulit, right? And menora, mak yong, awang batil, all these are storytelling in different ways and different forms. For instance, in the north, we have different ways of doing it, and in the central region, in the south, in the east coast, Sabah and Sarawak, yeah. Like this one, we said that it describes, storytelling describes the social and cultural activity, yeah. Sometimes with improvisation, right? Theatrics or embellishment. Every culture has its own stories or narratives, right? For instance, if we in Japan, we do have this kamishibai. Yeah, we do have kamishibai. This is another form of storytelling, right? And even in every country, we do have their own storytelling, their own stories. Sorry, and these stories, some of the stories, it travels around the world, and that is why sometimes we can find the same story, when we listen to the African, or if we listen to the other parts of the world when they tell stories, we can feel that, hey, that kind of story we do have in Malaysia as well, so that is how intercultural stories that carries around the world, all right? And these stories are shared as a means of entertainment. As I said earlier on, when we don't have the entertainment like the musical entertainment and all those things, we do have this storytelling, being told around. and for the purpose of education, right? And also, for family, all right? And storytelling actually is an art that oneself cannot acquire it overnight, but it needs continuous practice and improvement. Why do I say so? Because sometimes there are teachers who who said that Umi, how am I going to tell story? It's so difficult. How am I to get the kids to be with me? How am I going to engage them to be with me, and so on and so forth? So it is an art, all right? Storytelling is an art that you cannot acquire it overnight. You need practice. So when I say you need practice, not necessarily you need to practice with a big crowd, right? You can start off with your family members, bedtime stories, you know, or a family stories. uh, maybe the grandma will share the stories of their family trees and so on and so forth. So that is briefly what storytelling is all about. If I can go on and on and on about this storytelling, but for a start, that's it, Unita.
All
Uh,
right.
all right. Thank
Yes. All right. Thank you, Umi, for the explanation. That was very informational. So now we know that what storytelling is. So now, Puan Norlina, could you please let us know what are the elements of good storytelling?
Hi, thank you. Okay, I would encourage parents and teachers to read stories to the children. It's either the adults or the children can take turns to read the stories. To include positive energy, facial expressions, body movement, motivation, and things like that. Kids these days, they enjoy recording videos. So maybe what we can do is record them while they are telling their stories so that they can watch, see how they tell their story. It's really good because children these days, they need to know who they are as an individual. When you listen to yourself on the video, you listen to how the way you talk, your voice, and then you get to see how you look like and things like that. So it gives children the opportunity to feel appreciated about themselves. And of course, another good element is to have props, to draw images, encourage them to draw images. Then what it will do is basically increases their self-esteem, their confidence, their communication skills. They can communicate better, and it also gives them a way to express themselves. Children likes to feel appreciated. So when we tell a story, we try to relate the stories to them. Thanks, Unita.
Thank you, Puan Rolina, for the input. So now we know that storytelling is for children to express themselves. So now for the next question with Umi, what are messages in storytelling? Stories, sorry.
Wow. Messages in stories, actually, there's so many things that we can convey messages in the story. So as what Norina mentioned just now, read, that is the key word. Especially we need to read to get stories, all right? And of course, in stories, we can use it for communication, all right? To communicate things, all right? Because sometimes most of the people nowadays feels that, wow, when we mention stories, stories is only meant for kids, right? No, 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 no. It is not only for kids. right? Stories is for everybody, all right? To communicate, to tell something. If we want to convey anything, we can use it in a story form. And in fact, I'm sure Norina will agree with me that nowadays companies, all right, companies, they will engage, storytellers to tell stories for motivational, yeah, and they even include these story sessions as an art of storytelling for their corporate members, right? Because for the corporate members, they can use it as the motivational and also for their business, all right? And apart from that, stories, it can educate for education. For instance, we want to if teachers were to go to the classroom and said that, oh, today we are going to learn about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is something about the sun, and we need water, we need that, blah, 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 blah. Then, it is so broad. But if the teacher would start it with a story, maybe the story would stick on to their mind, because stories, people like to listen to stories. And in fact, sometimes I could still remember my teacher in my primary school who loved to tell stories. And I still remember their stories, right? So stories can be used as to educate the children. Okay, for instance, this book, right? The Selfish Son. This is what I said that, saying that today we are going to learn something. But if you tell story, then if they remember the story, then they remember what you are going to teach them. Of course, for entertainment, which I mentioned earlier, storytelling as an entertainment, because in stories sometimes we add on singing along, we sing along, and in our song, there's also messages that we carried along. All right, and then for healing, how we use stories. In fact, I do have experience telling stories using puppet and so on and so forth in the hospital. And in fact, my one of my experience that really touches me, where one of the cancer boy, after my session, he asked the father to come and see me and learn the song of Pelangi, Rainbow, and then I asked why. She said that he loved that song and he want the father to, to sing that song for him. And sadly, I went back to the hospital for the next session in 2 weeks. After that, a fortnight time. So sad that, God loves him more where, God takes him earlier on. And then to convey memorable and effective with appropriate story. Okay, there's a lot of things that we can tell story.
Yes.
Get a message.
All right. All right, Umi, that's really interesting to know that there are so much of messages and stories that we can get. Now, we have know that what storytelling is. Now we have know what are the elements, and also we have know what are the messages in stories. Now let's go in depth to see how storytelling helps in children's development.
Okay. I agree with Umi. Now businesses do a lot of storytelling. Even us, we can resonate very well. We tell our stories in social media and things like that. So at Inspiracom, we use storytelling to help underprivileged children unlock their mental blocks, their internal challenges, and limiting beliefs. So we encourage them to be brave to ask questions. So what we do is, in order to inspire them, to motivate them to enjoy learning, we share stories relating to our knowledge, our skills, and our experiences. It is good for brain development and their imagination. As we know, children, their imagination is limitless. And when we get to communicate with them, it develops their language skills and also emotions. Like when we watch movies, right? Especially like I'm sure many of you here watch K-dramas and things like that. So play on emotions. So stories play a lot of with emotions, and also it strengthens the relationship either with the parent and the child, the grandparent and the child, or even teachers with the students.
Wow, that was really interesting. So it just seems like we learn something new almost every single day. So, for the next question, so in like what way does developing like positive attitudes and life skill help children?
Okay, so basically how you present the story, how you motivate children to learn, basically creates curiosity and excitement, right? So that they can have positive attitudes and behavior. As we know, stories, they always have like setbacks. They always go through some challenges first, and then how they succeed and things like that. So it builds confidence in children in terms of positive energy. They get very enthusiastic. Children are always very enthusiastic, and they're very positive, and they're always on the go and things like that. And we know stories, there are a lot of stories out there which show kindness to others. There are a lot of stories in YouTube videos which are age appropriate, which you can share with the children. And basically, we want everyone, not just kids, right, these days to be happy and lead meaningful lives. So for us, ultimately, we want to improve school attendance and to reduce dropout rates in vulnerable children.
I see. Okay. Yes. That's really interesting. And yes, there are lots of stories. But can we know what are the storytelling techniques that we have?
All right. The story, because when we want to get the engagement of the children, as Norlina mentioned, that the children, they are so enthusiastic, they are so forward, they move forward towards it. So there are so many techniques, but I would say that one is of course the oral storytelling, where you and your voice and your body, so you just tell stories like that. And another thing, we do have a story reading, all right, or a read aloud session. All right, this is also very good, where we can implement it anywhere, anytime. All right, and also the story theater or story drama. All right, we do have. So I categorize it as three, but in the next slide, I use it. The storytelling technique using tools or props, right? As Norina mentioned just now, also, using props, how we want to make the storytelling alive. All right, we want it to be alive. We can use tools or props, yeah. And the methods of presentation of the storytelling, we can only use books, all right, whereby we can take books and then we just open and we read to the children, or we can just use fingers, yeah, plain fingers, or we have these finger puppets which you can easily get it in the market. All right, and then origami. Right, origami and paper folding. There's two different types. Origami using the plain origami paper. All right, whereas paper folding, you can use any size of the paper. All right, so that's the difference between origami and paper folding. And we can even use a handkerchief. All right, you can even use handkerchief to tell stories. And of course, there are stories that we can tell using the handkerchief. In fact, when I was small, at that time, we don't have the money to buy dolls. So we can use handkerchief even to make dolls and play. And we do have stories, yeah, using handkerchief. And kamishibai is one of the techniques of storytelling from Japan. And we have puppets, shadow puppets, finger puppets, as what I mentioned earlier on just now. And then drawing. So while we tell stories, we draw. And at the end of the story, our drawings becomes a complete drawing. And then we use strings, right? Paper folding and felt, the cloth, newspapers, music, all right? Russian dolls. Just now, even this morning, I was with this art therapy, art storytelling. They use the Russian dolls, whereby you have the big one. When you open, there's another small dolls inside. And you use vegetables. And then sand. Yeah, you use sand to tell stories, and transparency, of course, now is difficult because we don't use transparency anymore, all right, in the classroom. Okay, so there are so many ways of telling stories. There's so many techniques that you can tell stories. So yeah.
Yes. Well, I didn't know that we can use fingers and strings to fingers and strings are one of the storytelling techniques. That was really interesting to know. Thank you, Umi. So now let's move on to our next question. How can storytelling be used in schools or at home to help children to express themselves?
Okay. I'm a strong advocate of instilling growth mindset in children. I have a 3-year-old daughter, my youngest daughter, and sometimes she talks to her imaginary friend. And actually, that is good because she's actually expressing herself, she's actually thinking and her thoughts and things like that. So we would encourage children to ask a lot of questions. We use the concept of 5W and 1H: what, who, where, why, and when, and how. So basically, we support them to make good life choices by asking questions. We guide them. So when they are curious, we try to talk to them, try to understand how they actually process information, whether it's information that they see, they watch, or maybe in their surrounding areas. So that's basically how we feel that storytelling for children, it needs to be guided so that they pick up all these skills for them to be future ready, so that they have this they have these employable skills. They can be active citizens, creative communicators, then they can be independent when they are a bit older, and also they are a progressive learner. So when we guide them as we move along, it's actually good for their personal development. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. As I mentioned about questions, right? You know, sometimes when children, when they are very young, they always ask why. And initially, I didn't know. I thought like when my kids ask me why so many times, like 100 times, it was like, you know, we could get agitated, we could get irritated, but actually they are exploring. You know, they are seeing things that maybe it doesn't exist, but they are already you know, imagining it and things like that. So we encourage children to ask questions like, even when you tell a story, what do you see? Is it a good story? Yes or no? If yes, okay, why is it a good story? If no, why do you think that wasn't a good story for you? And things like that. So you make them think as well, not just to absorb information. And then we also ask them, like, you know, did you expect this? Or what do you want to share about the story that I just read to you, or which you have just read? And who is your favorite character in the story, or what is your favorite character in the story? All these principles are similar to how we watch a movie. You know, we have all this in mind when we watch a movie, right? Sometimes when we watch a drama, we go like, the ending is so horrible, I didn't expect that ending, and things like that. It's similar for children. So when we share stories with them, when we tell stories to them, they also process it that way. So in our programs, we create this concept called sandbox. We allow them to discover and experiment. They learn to be, to do, to know, and how to live together with other people. In terms of the characters, you know, how do you live with a fish or a cat or a dog, and with their pets and things like that. So all these stories will affect them when they grow up. Okay, so next, okay, so this is the sandbox which I wish I shared earlier, right? So basically, it encourages creativity, personal fulfillment, and they learn to be flexible, adaptable, critical, as well as the learning to live together part is exercising tolerance. Tolerance could be with their siblings, could be with their neighbors, could be with their friends, and things like that. And as well as they can understand and respect other people from different backgrounds, from different races, different religion, and things like that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that question.
All right. Thank you for Norlina. That was really very informative. And now let's move on to our next question. We would like to know, what is resiliency and how does storytelling help to develop or strengthen it?
Okay. The most important thing we need to know is, what is the meaning of resilience, right? Resilience is the ability to bounce back after challenges and tough times. Like all of us right now, like we are going through tough times because of the pandemic. Things which we used to do have totally changed 360 degrees and things like that. So with the children, with our participants, for our programs, we always use stories like, for example, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Okay, so there's a moral story to that, in terms of integrity, in terms of, you know, not to lie to others and things like that. So always try to use the moral stories, and bring it out, showcase it out, so that the children understands, right? So the next thing is that in life, there's always, like, you know, ups and downs and things like that, which the children, they will experience that as well when they are young. You know, they are, first 1 minute they are okay with their friends or with their siblings, the next minute they are fighting and things like that. So for them, resilience will also teach them to have strong relationships with other people, whereby when they experience challenges, and they have to learn how to deal with them. Okay, so like I mentioned, storytelling stories are similar to what we watch in movies. So like what Umi has mentioned, in terms of actively engaging in them, listening to them, asking questions, you know, it's not just us feeding information to them, because we want to create curiosity, we want to create excitement, which explores their imagination. So once they are in that state, it will motivate them in learning, motivate them to know more about certain things, certain topics. Yeah. The next slide that also I would like to point out is that I did talk about confidence, whereby they will be confident because when they talk, they get to express themselves. Like public speaking. Public speaking is also a good way of sharing their stories. Encourages our children, to show kindness to others. Basically, all of us. Actually, all human beings, right? All of us, we want to be happy. We want to lead more meaningful lives. So fulfillment, contentment, and happiness is really important. And this goes back to research. Next slide, please. So this is based on the Maslow's theory, right? As we know, before I go to that, go back to the global problems. I would like to highlight that, as we know, since the pandemic hit us, children have been feeling very lost, confused, depressed. Some, lost loved ones, their parents, their grandparents, and things like that. Some also due to, some parents, they have lost their jobs and things like that. So all these do affect the kids, and they have to be resilient in overcoming this. So the next slide, going back to research. So when I was referring about the fulfillment, the happiness, and things like that, this is the theory of human motivation by the Maslow's theory, right? So all of us, for children, they don't have to worry about safety and psychological needs. What they want to know is basically they are interested in belonging. They want to be loved. They want to have a sense of freedom. They want to play and things like that. So this theory also will affect children in a way. So basically, that's how to build resilience. Everyone at any point of time will go through tough times, no matter what age you are. Some young children, where parents go through a divorce and things like that. So it builds them to be a stronger person. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Juanolina. So, wow, that was really informative and also very interesting. So, with the next question, what is bibliotherapy?
Okay. Nowadays, when we talk about bibliotherapy, people thought that this is something new. Actually, bibliotherapy is not new. It has been practiced even in the early 1990s. It has been, being practiced, the bibliotherapy. And what is bibliotherapy actually? Biblio means book, right? The word biblio is book, and therapy, of course, is the treatment, all right? Treatment for any sickness, okay? So bibliotherapy aims to bridge the gap, what is happening to your mind and your body using literature, using books. How you can help someone, especially now, where not only adults, but kids also who are so stressful, we can use books to help them, to support them, giving information and guidance through reading activities, via books and stories. Okay, so book and stories is very apt. Yeah, it's very apt and appropriate at all times. All right, and for everybody, in fact. Yeah. So for instance, if we have kids who face the problems of being bullied, so sometimes they simply stay away. But how to motivate them is by giving them books to read, or we read them the stories, or we tell them stories. And what is the link between both, between stories and books, all right, and the therapy. So actually the prescription, if we are sick, we go and see the doctor and the doctor will prescribe, all right. If we have fever, and then they will give us the medication for fever. But when we say bibliotherapy means we give the prescription in the form of books or story for the client to read outside the session. Because when they go and see the psychologist, one day, Unita, you will be, Shani, both of you will be the psychologist, yeah? So you
Yes.
can use bibliotherapy to help your patient, yeah?
All right. Yes, thank you for the insightful input, Umi. So now you have explained to us about bibliotherapy. Now, can we know how can these therapeutic stories can be used to address the issues that we are facing now?
All right. Therapeutic stories, you know, you can help. When we say bibliotherapy, meaning that it is not necessary for the patient or for our client to read the whole book for them to get away with or the prescription, yeah. But they can only read, or we can suggest a certain topics from a book, because sometimes when we ask them to read the whole book, definitely they won't do so. All right. So, for instance, if we have people with anxiety, all right, then we can recommend books how to release their anxiety or to release their depression, yeah, because there's so many books in the market, yeah, about uh, releasing depression and substance abuse like drugs, you know, and all. So we can, even today, I saw something about a girl being abused by the father because the father was a drug addict. He is a drug addict, and you know he beated the child in front of the public, and someone is trying to protect the girl. Yeah, so, but they wanted to call the police to arrest the father, and how the kids cried, no, please don't, because he is my father. Then you can see, you know, how this story can help this as therapeutic stories, yeah. Eating disorder, wow. You know, now with the pandemic, we stay at home, we tend to eat a lot, you know, and we don't care about our eating disorders and all. So we have all these stories, how, you know, even to get, to be safe, you know, we have to eat a lot of vegetables, fruits, you know, and then relationship issues, right? You know, there are stories that we can create, not to say create, that we can get from a book. I have this story about a mother, how she resigned, all right? It's just because her kid is being sexually harassed, you know, when she sent the kid to the, you know, to the center, all right? And then the existential concern, the isolation, you know, the freedom. You know, we have all these stories which, especially now with the, you know, all of a sudden, a kid becomes, you know, what should I say, yatim piatu, they lost their father and mother within a week because of the pandemic, and how this, can really, uh, what should I say, how can these feelings, but we can help them through stories, all right? And of course, there's also interpersonal relationship, how to manage anger, all right? How to manage anger. Even this simple story of the yellow lion and the blue lion, they have been fighting because of this. They want to be strong, that simple story which we can read. But if they unite, the yellow and the blue, if they unite, then what color can it be? It's green, right? Yellow and blue, if we mix it, then it become green, which is more, subtle and soothing. All right, and the intrapersonal relationship, like shyness, depression, grief, rejection, and all, right? So we can use story. This is what we said as therapeutic stories to overcome all these problems, especially the negativism, all the ism at the end, which we have racism, sexism, ageism, and when I say about ageism, some people say, well, we are going to age one day, but sometimes the age, right, can cause depression, can cause, they feel that when they age, they cannot do this, they cannot do that, and all. But as you age, you need to do something, and you are wiser at your age. Actually, there's a lot of things that we can, use therapeutic stories to address all these issues, what I mentioned in the slides. Yeah. Okay, and these are some of the books that we, look at. The Therapy Bercerita, Behavior Tales, and then even Zikir for the Muslim, right? Add Pahala and Delete Dosa. So all these that we can use, and there are some more slides on, just now I show you the yellow lion and the blue lion, Rekenka's egg, and believe, belonging, become. And right? And Panjang, do you know who is this Panjang? In school, he's being, people being bullied him and say this, he's Panjang, he's so different. And now he's the Prime Minister of Singapore. All right, so Panjang, naive, all right? All right, and at the end there, we have the Kapal Haji there. The difference of people going to Mecca now and compared to before, right? Okay, any more? No, okay, that's it that I would like.
All right, Umi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Umi, and also to Puan Norlina for such informative and insightful session. We have really learned a lot. And dear participants, what do you guys think? Tell us how you're feeling now.
Yes.
Yes, we would like to know. Comment in the chat box.
Great, yeah.
Yes. All right. So now is the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, type your questions in the comment section or chat box below. And for those questions that we have asked earlier, that you guys have asked earlier, we have taken that down and we are going to answer all the questions now. So if you're going to ask the questions, please indicate to whom your question is directed to. For example, if your question is directed to Umi, so just put Umi and then put the question beside her name. So are you guys clear? So now let's just go on to the Q&A session.
Okay, hi, Umi and Nolina. Thank you so much for such an informative and interesting session on storytelling. So far we had 2 questions from the audience just now during your sharing session. So first question, I think this is directed to Umi. What is Kamishibai?
All right. Okay. Kamishibai is one of the technique of storytelling, and the way we perform the story is we have this box, a special box that the storyteller brings along with them, and it is called butai. All right, and we have cards where these story cards, they will insert into the butai, right? And they will pull, and while they tell stories, they will pull out and and they insert it in, and there's a sequence of doing it, whereby this Kamishibai, the front page, right? There is the what should I say, the prompt of the story behind the last page. So what we have, so that the storyteller, when they don't need to look at the card, you know, from behind they know what they are telling. Then when they pull, they slot in the information about the next slides, you know. It goes on and on. And you can also Google, you know, if you want to look at the butai and how Kamishibai is being carried out, you can Google Kamishibai, right? Kamishibai storytelling or whatsoever, then you can get it. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Umi, for the explanation.
And
so let's move on to the next question by Leng.
Yeah.
If this is directed to Nurlina, yeah? If my students have language barrier and lack of vocabularies, when I ask them open-ended questions like why and how, they stay silent. So should I keep trying open-ended questions to train their thinking skills or change to close-ended questions?
Hi, yes, that's a very good question. Actually, for our children, doesn't matter whether which economic background they are from, they're always shy, or maybe they have lack in confidence, right? So there's no right or wrong answer to say that okay, you must only use open or close-ended questions. I think the good it can be very frustrating. I understand. You know, not just for our participants, even my own children. You know, when we ask questions, how is it, and things like that. Okay, don't know. I can't remember. I forgot, and things like that, right? So it has to be a continuous process. Put in a lot of effort, and you need to combine. I think to answer your question is to combine open and close-ended questions. There's always this rule whereby actually, if you want to know something, you have to ask why for 5 times. Why this, why that, and things like that. You know who does this a lot? If you all are familiar with Tony Robbins, he's a motivational speaker, an American. That's what he does. He doesn't give you answers. He'll ask you why. Why? And when you actually dig deeper, then the child will try to think. You know, sometimes kids these days, they expect things very fast, and information very fast, things very fast. They don't bother to, they are not resourceful. So try to ask why as many times as possible.
Okay, thank you, Norlina. So we have next question. It is not mentioned to whom it is directed to, but I believe Norlina can answer this question. Lately, adults have been struggling with concentration and reading due to poor mental health. Any advice on how to overcome this difficulty with concentrating?
Okay, in my experience now, I even told this to my mom, to my aunties. Try and block yourself out of negativity. Don't sit down at the news or wait to watch the COVID numbers that's rising or going down or going up and things like that. Stop. What I do is I block myself out totally. Only in this not interesting, but sorry, important news, like when are we moving to phase 1, phase 2, and things like that, then only I will pay attention to it. Because why, right? We get messages in WhatsApp, internet, social media, emails, everything is a lot about negative news, and it gives us negative energy. So for me, what I can say, I can share with you my personal experience. What I do is I was in depression in 2018. It was really bad. What I did was I learned, I go for a walk, or even do simple exercises or stretching at home, and then listen to motivational speeches. If you're a Muslim, you can listen to a lot of good, like from Yasmin Mogamed, from Mufti Meng. There are a lot of good speeches out there, or even motivational speeches by Les Brown, Tony Robbins, who's the other person, Mel Robbins, and things like that, right? Or even listen to your favorite music, or try to do something that you like. Because you're feeling down, you need to motivate yourself. So once you are okay, once you have positive energy, then you'll be able to sit down, you'll be able to concentrate and breathe. So that's what I can share with you based on my personal experiences. I'm not a psychologist, but it's just basically from my own personal experience.
Thanks for the good sharing, Norlina. We have more questions.
I add on about this.
Sorry, Umia.
Now, they did mention about the hyperactive, how to get them, to get the kids to be with us, because they are hyperactive, their span of concentration is very limited. All right. For this kind of kids, you can use stories, or you can use toys, anything that they like it, right? They like it, then you can get them to be with you. Yeah. I have this experience myself whereby, during my storytelling session, they gave me 2 hours of storytelling. Could you imagine? 2 hours, how am I going to get the kids? How am I going to glue them? It's not that easy. But thank God I managed to do so with, interactive storytelling, which I managed to glue the parents and the children. And in fact, in that group, there is an autism boy, and at the end of the session, the mother came up to me and said, "Thank you, Umi, thank you. This is the first time ever this boy can sit for 2 hours without, leaving the room." So this is how I would say that storytelling, and interactive storytelling, and use whatever props that is of a liking to the children, so that you can get them, you can inculcate this, so that they won't be that hyperactive. They can stay with you for a longer span of time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Umi, for the explanation. Okay, we have next question here. How to build my kids' confidence? All my kids love to draw. but they are a bit shy to tell the story of what they draw to the person that they might not know well, especially their teachers or classmates. What is the best advice to them?
All right. Lina, you want to answer that first?
Okay, Ken. Thanks, Umi. Okay. From our experience working with children, they are very shy, and some they feel scared that they will be punished or reprimanded, or they feel that if I draw, my drawing is not nice, my friends will laugh at me, and things like that, right? It's similar to how they want to ask questions. They are afraid to ask questions because their questions may be silly. People will laugh at them. So what we do is that how to build the kids' confidence is we will try to ask the kids to explain. Okay, we will ask the questions. What are you drawing? Oh, okay. Oh, it's a tree. Wow, that's a nice tree. You have to try and include good words, positive words for them, so that they are inspired and motivated. And what we have experienced is that sometimes the children, they feel very down, very low. So we tell them, no, it's okay. Try again. Always try. Ask them to try again. When they get the opportunity to be able to try again, their spirits will lead up. That's what we do with the orang asli children. Even if they get their answers wrong and things like that, it's okay. We tell them that it's okay. You try again, because the learning process is the most important part. It's not whether they are right or they are wrong. Okay, Umi, you can add on.
Yeah. In fact, this morning, I attended one talk, by Dr. American, Healing with Arts. Yeah, Healing with Arts. So he shared how he used arts, to as a therapeutic way of uh, getting the children out of their problem. For instance, these kids, he got these kids, she's five, and she refused to talk. And the mother was so worried, and actually, it's not that she cannot, she can. But she refused to talk after she experienced, where mommy and daddy were divorced. Yeah. And they use arts, they use arts to heal. And she herself, they give, the freedom for her to draw. Just imagine, she's only 5. Of course, the draw is only the matchstick drawing, yeah, but it's okay. We can understand. So that is why we need to look at the arts, or whatever that our kids are drawing, and we need to try to understand what actually they are trying to portray, what they are trying to tell you. Yeah, even sometimes colors. Yeah, colors play an important role as well in our life. So, with a little knowledge that you have, mom and dad, probably you need to learn a little bit about this. If you have, such kinds of kids at home. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Umi and Nolina. So Umi, we have such a sweet request from Mubina. She says that, to Umi, can you show us how you storytell? I have witnessed it before and love the way you storytell. Would love to see it again. Maybe a page or two of a book if you have the time, of course.
Yes, I love to.
Actually, this is a request from many people here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do I have it here with me? Yeah, because I don't really. All right. I just use. Can a short story of Mr. Long and Mr. Short. I don't know whether who is that who asked me the Mubina.
Mubina, yes.
Yes, it's me, Umi. I attended one of
okay.
your talks at the Orang Asli Library, and you did this Mr. Long and Mr. Short. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, you have heard that story before. You know why? I love this story of Mr. Long and Mr. Short because one is while I tell stories, you know, I will do the paper folding. I won't do the complete story, yeah, about Mr. Long and Mr. Short. And when I see Mr. Long, then I will show you this side, the long side. And when I say Mr. Short, then I will use the other side and say this is Mr. Short and Mrs. Short, right? Both of them received the invitation card to go to Sagi College on the 11th of September. Very important date today, 11th September. Wow. All right. And then who sent the letter to the house? You know, this is the interactive. Who sent the letter to the house? And then, of course, the kids will be with you. Who sent the letter to our house? Kids. All right. Who sent the letter? All right. Of course, they will answer, oh, postman. Or sometimes they say, oh, Mr. Short, because Mr. Short is next door. I say, yes, Mr. Postman. And Mr. Postman, and then during that time, I will inform them that, okay, Mr. Postman will come to the house. Of course, now they said on a bike. And I told them, no, during my time, when Umi was small, Mr. Postman will cycle. Huh? Everybody was so shocked. Umi, you mean they cycle under the hot sun? You know, so they don't know. And in fact, when I do that story, I will, you know, because I have the picture of the bicycle of the postman, and I've already laminated it, and I show them. Oh, they was, you know, they can't believe that the postman is on the bike. And, you know, and Mr. Short also received the same letter. Who sent the letter? The postman. Is it the same postman or different postman? Or some say yes, the same, some says no. If they say the same, who, I know, why the same postman? Oh, because they said they live nearby. But the most importantly is because they have the same postcode. All right, so that is another thing that we, you know, get the children to understand the postcode. Do you know your postcode?
Yep.
Yeah, everybody will start. If the mother is by the side, Mama, what is our postcode? What is our postcode? You know, the importance of postcode. So while telling stories, you can, in fact, you know, oh yeah, my box is over the other side. So until the end, right? Until the end of the story, that paper, yeah, no one here to help me to get the box over there. Okay, I'll finish, you know, and the characters of Mr. Long and Mr. Short, yeah, they have two different characters, whereby Mr. Long, they are very, what should I say, they are punctual, you know, with all the positive vibes to them. Whereas Mr. Long, Mr. Short and Mrs. Short, you know, the session is at 3 o'clock, they reach at 4, and then what happened? The door was closed, and how they knocked the door, they wanted to go in because Miss Vala refused to get them in, right? So they are so, how they become so angry, they cannot get in. and then they knock at the door until all the four corners of the door get dented. And then you can just ask the children, can we do so? Of course, everybody would say, no, 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 we cannot do that. Yes, of course, because Sagi College is not yours, all right? It belongs to public. I would say it belongs to public because everyone can go there. And even if our own house also, we cannot do that. No, PT, mom and dad, after that, they need to repair. And at the end of the session, whereby Mr. Short and Mrs. Short, they cannot go in, but who was inside? Mr. Long and Mrs. Long. And at the end of the session, there's a little food, yeah, and there's extra. So they asked the organizer for some food to give back to the Mr. Long and Mrs. Long, which they wanted to give it to the to Mr. and Mrs. Short. So the organizer gave them a box. You see? So with that story, at the end of it, it becomes a box, which you can use it for anything. Of course, the girls would say, yeah, we can put our color pencil in there and all, and then say that, yeah, mommy can put lipstick, you know. But not only that, if you open the box, you can see lines, okay? And that is an extension activities with your kids, whereby you can ask them how many square, how many rectangles, how many triangles, you know. And actually, even teachers also can use this story in their art class or even in their maths class, you know. And just this simple story, because I have the paper only with me. And of course, there's a lot more of stories. And like this, you can, even the teacher, yeah, you can use it for different classes, right? For different classes. One story which you can use for math class, you can use for art class, yeah, for your literature, all right? And yeah, I think a very brief story, okay? And if you want more stories, then you can call me.
Okay.
Wow, Umi.
Oh, yeah.
So now we understand why teacher Mubina, she really wants to listen to your story again. And seriously, we all feel like children again. Thank you, Umi. And we have one last question over here. It is for Umi. Where can we find out more on therapeutic books?
Okay. Actually, there's a lot of books. You know, if you go to Popular or you go to MPH or even the small bookshops or anywhere, there are a lot of these therapeutic stories. It's only thing that how you you know, you need to recognize what kind of problems that your children or your subordinate or your family is going through. So with that, then only you can, you know, get books that is appropriate with them. For instance, like this book, Panjang, right? This book, Panjang, is because some people, you know, some children, they are odd in school. Maybe it's not because of panjang, they are because of their pendek, they are short, all right? Or it's because they are plump, all right? So even though the book is panjang, but it can be also for those who are plump, all right? We read them the book or we give it to them, you see? Even he is being, you know, fools around. during his school days, whereby if he were to go and buy trousers from the shops, then his trousers will be very short compared to the others. Yes, and the friends all laugh at him, but at the end, he is the prime minister. All right. So this is the therapeutic stories like this one. My name is Nadia. I have autism. All right. So you can get those kind of books. But importantly, yeah, like this one, this if we look at this title, The Selfish Son. All right. If we look at this title, there's nothing at all mentioned about autism or hyperactive or any sickness. No, nothing. But this is about the sun and the moon. They are so selfish, they fight, and because of that, what happened to the world? The whole wide world become darkness. All the trees, all the plants died. Why? Because they are selfish. Yeah, and the story is just because of selfish. But even this story, simple story, children's story, you can even tell this to adults. All right, and in fact, the yellow and the blue, yeah, the yellow lion and the blue lion. Do you know that I tell these stories to the politicians? The blue and the yellow at that time. All right. And if, both wanted to, what should I say? If both wanted to be in power, right? Nothing happened. The whole world rose up, meaning Malaysia will fall. But if they unite, then we will rise. It's just a simple thing like that. Okay, and I think there's a few more like this one, mengatasi tekanan. Of course, for those who under stress and all those. Yeah, mengatasi tekanan, and this is for those young have this problem, cancer survivor. Yeah, for cancer survivor, we have this. And sometimes when we give them the book, it's not necessary. You can look at the book and you can tell them, you just concentrate on which chapter. Because sometimes they don't want to read the whole book. All right, sorry. And this is about naive. Yeah, naive is about our student. Okay, now the government is opening the door for our students for them to study abroad, or for other students abroad who comes and study at SEGI. Yeah, probably we can use, because when they are here, our culture is different compared to theirs, and everything, all are different. So this naive is very good. How the author in her young age, she studied in US, and how she need to carry herself abroad.
All right. Thank you so much, Umi. Thank you so much. Shannon, did you know that we can have a paper to tell a story? I just knew that we can use a paper to explain a story, and that was so much interesting to see. All right. Thank you so much. That was truly a great and insightful session. And I personally have learned so much throughout this forum. I hope you guys did too. And on behalf of all our participants, I'd like to once again thank Umi and Puan Norlina for their sharing today. It was really very much informative and we really enjoyed it. Yay!
Okay, on
Okay.
behalf of Segi College Subang Jaya, it's a pleasure to have you both for our session today. And I believe that it turned to be a productive evening for all of us with Umi and Nolina. Thank you so much to spend your time with us this evening. Thank you.
Yes.
Unita, for your information, I saw one of our participants here managed to get the box. Right, Afrin? I saw you holding a box just now. Right.
Oops. Oh.
They managed to do it. Okay. All right. That's it.
All right, thank you so much. And now, this is going to be a very fun session, and I think this is a session that all of us have been waiting for. So we have the activity session, and we have 3 activities in total. We encourage all the participants to join and engage in this activity because this is definitely going to be very much fun, and we have facilitators to guiding you. So the first activity is footprints in your imagination, second activity is story in a jar, and third activity is draw and tell. Yes, so Shannon.
All right, so let's get on with our first activity. It is called Footprints in Your Imaginations.
Next. Hi, welcome to our first activity, and this is our facilitator. I'm Samantha, and Shani will be our second facilitator. So you will wonder how to play the first activity. So it's very simple. We need you to prepare a pencil and a paper. So later on, we will show you 5 pictures and you choose only one picture that favor you the most, that attract you the most. So you just need to write a short story on the paper based on the picture that you choose. So we will show you an example on how to do it. So this is the teddy bear pictures. So like the left side, the story is, it was Lily's birthday on 21st July. She was very upset that nobody remembered her birthday. She cried on her way home. Suddenly, happy birthday, screamed her friends. They have been waiting for her to surprise her with birthday present. It was a big teddy bear, her favorite present. She was so happy that she couldn't stop smiling. So this is an example that you could write on the paper. So next slide. We will pass this to Shannon.
All right, next slide, please. All right, so we have 5 pictures. There is the first one, which is a train station. The second one is a scene from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with the chocolate river. And number 3 is a scene in the beach. Number 4 is a bunch of children playing under the rain. And number 5, a photographer taking photos of artifacts. So you guys only have to choose one picture out of the 5, and you may start writing your short story. We'll give you 5 minutes to prepare, so good luck and have fun.
Miss, you can play the music there on the left bottom side. Yes.
One only. You talk about the train station.
Then this is a train station.
Oh.
It has a train.
Up to you.
Okay.
It must be a story. Okay. Train.
Mark.
only write one only. You write the train. Write about the train.
I just tell you.
About the train
Since the
station.
train begins to move. I need to prepare my story. Soon the train begins to move. Then
Up to you. No?
the train begins. He works at
In your office or
in and his office is white in color.
you talk about the train station. You talk about his office.
I need an eraser. I don't have a razor. So dusty.
Yeah.
The is an LRT. The train, not the train lah. It is white in color. That's white in color. The train has
Right, guys, it has been about 5 minutes. Are you guys ready with your stories?
yes. I'm done with my story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Change the story.
All right, if you guys are done with your stories, you guys can go ahead and either scan the QR code and you can
Scan the
submit your
QR code.
stories to our
Be quick.
Instagram and Facebook.
Tell me your story.
Anyone who okay, and anyone who like to share their story can raise up your hand, and we
Can I request for Vicky to share her story? Yes.
Vicky?
Vicky Uy, yes. That sweet little girl with us.
Oh, so she knows you, lah. No, she knows you, ah. You want to? Are they? I don't know how.
Do you want to share your story?
Yes.
How?
Yeah,
How
go
you
ahead. Okay.
You You want to read?
You read your story?
You read.
This is a train station. It has a train. Mark sits the train. He is going to work. Soon the train begins to move. Mark works in an office. The train is an LRT. It is white in color. The train has black windows. What? I copied the story.
Okay.
Alright.
That's all.
That was so good.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't. You say lah. I'm Haley Lai.
I'm Haley Lai. See me.
Hi, Haley. Thank you, Haley.
Hi, Haley.
Oh, sorry, we have another participant who raised her hand, Diana.
Diana.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, hi, Diana. You can share your story.
Train. Choo choo. Here comes the train. Let's get on. Let's go on a journey. It's going to be fun.
Oh, that was very good. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I used to do the train.
Does anyone else want to share your stories?
Why you read some? Why you already share already? You already share. You read it. Why you want it? Yeah, you read so many times. One time enough.
All right. So this will be the end of our first activity. Thank you so much for participating. So our next activity is Story in a Jar with Afrin and Kelly.
Kelly? Introduction.
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 Mm.
A little hat. Used to play.
So they have rules. So you read the rules.
Missed the previous slide. Sorry.
Introduction
Hello
again.
everyone. Our game is called Story in a Jar, and I'm Afrin.
Okay.
I'm Kelly.
In this activity, we're going to share stories from our memorable photos. Kelly will explain to you all the instructions, and then we will demonstrate on how to play this game. If there's still any questions left, please feel free to ask. Miss the next slide, and Kelly will explain the instructions.
All right, how to play Story in a Jar. Next slide. So everyone here, you can share a memorable photo or your favorite photo, a photo that makes you happy whenever you look at it. And all you can do is open your camera and show us your memorable photo from your phone. And if you cannot share the picture like this, demo it. So you can share your photo like this. Wait. Like this. And then you can tell. You can tell in the chat box or speak out like that. And you share the story behind the photo. So before you start to share your photo through the camera, you may raise your hand through the reaction button.
I will now demonstrate this activity. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the photo I took this year. This was the day I met a friend of mine after a long time, and we just randomly walked around. I'm not a great photographer, but like that's the only picture I had of that entire day, and it was one of the happiest day. So you may share your photos from a phone and then share the story behind us.
So I'll start from what I showed just now. For example, this photo. It was my first time seeing an aeroplane landing just feet above the building. It was at Japan, Osaka. So that's whenever I see this photo, I remember my experience. So you all may start sharing now.
All right, I'll go next. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a picture of like the sky and a little bit of a palm tree. So this was a picture I took on a holiday. I went to an island. It's called Tioman. It's a bit off the shore from Malaysia. I went there with my family and a bit of my extended family, so like my cousins and my grandmother. It was a picture, I think around evening time that I took it. So yeah, I like this picture a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Anyone else would like to go next?
I will carry on. As you can see, this picture is a birthday cake and it's took from my birthday since last year. And it's a very nice day because everyone wished me happy birthday on that day. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassie. Anyone else?
Hi, good evening. This is mine. So as you can see, this is a photo. This is the last day that before MCO hit us. So that is the only the last travel photo I had together with my team. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. If no one else wants to go next, I'll wrap up this activity. Vicky, yes, Vicky, please go ahead.
This picture was took during my 6th birthday. I was very happy because my mom prepared a nice cake for me.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. Vicky, it's on mute.
This is my color. I like my color.
Well, okay. Just say lah. You go to
My toys. I go Disneyland. I like
wait.
my toys.
Wait.
Ooh.
Okay.
Haley, you want to say something?
Okay. Haley, say can see the photograph or not?
Can you see or not?
Can you see? Go
You
nearer.
can put it nearer. You can try to put it nearer.
This one is me in Disneyland once I 3 years old that time. I with Mama go on. No, Mama one. I only go with Mama and then the next day I got eat strawberry yogurt one. And then I sleep in the hotel. This Mama doesn't know this. Only Mama take picture and send to Amma and Amma put in the album of Japan.
Okay.
Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else would like to go next?
Nobody.
Hi, Bujo.
Hi, teacher.
Hi.
This picture I took it on the New Year.
New Year?
So good.
New Year.
On
Yes,
the
we
Christmas.
saw it. Who is it?
Thank you. Dana, do you want to share?
Dana again. The long hair.
Diana, do you want to share?
Hmm? Hmm? Nobody? Hello? Hello? Anybody?
I think the direction was given earlier.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Does anyone else want to go next?
Oh, next. Dan?
If not, we'll wrap up this activity. Thank you for taking your time to share your story with us.
Number
This
three?
was
Thank you.
Three.
Shannon, that was the end of our activity.
Three.
Alright. Thank you, Afrin and Kelly, for activity 2. Now we're gonna move on to activity 3 with Arina and Kelly.
I can talk to her. Yeah. I miss grandfather don't know what.
Next slide.
Next one. Thank you for coming. Activity.
Okay, can everyone hear me? I had
Yeah.
some problems
Yeah.
earlier. All right, cool. Okay, so for the last activity of the day is called draw and tell. Very simple, I will explain later. Okay, next one. Okay, so before we begin, I would like to introduce that I'm Marina and I have Casey with me to help you guys guide things through. Next.
Hi.
Next. Okay, so for the instruction is very simple. All you have to do is pick one keyword from the 5 keywords that will be shown on the screen later. Based on the keyword of your choice, you will have to draw a picture, any picture that comes to mind, and then based on your creation, come up with a story that best describes your drawing. I'll repeat. So number 1, choose one keyword. Number 2, draw based on the keyword. Number 3, come up with a story. So draw and tell. Okay? All right. Move on.
So as you can see, this is an example of drawing, and the story for this picture was about one of my memories. So it was one of my favorite vacations that I've been through before. I remember the last time I went to an Iceland with my family allows me to rest and relax after a long period of study. I can enjoy the sea, watching the beautiful beaches and natural views. It reminds me to slow down, take some time to enjoy the sea view and get an opportunity to refresh my mind. Listen to some music and play some fun games on the yacht. It was such a wonderful travel memory, which I can enjoy all the moments around me. Next, please. So as mentioned before, you need to choose one of the keywords and draw as well as tell. The 5 keywords are dream location, role model, love, memories, and living organism. Yeah, Kelly choose one and draw based on the keyword.
Role model, love, memories, living organism, dream vacation. Dream vacation. I draw dream vacation. Yes.
What are you doing now? Oh, you're drawing now. Oh, you're drawing. What are you drawing? Wow, your bird, so lovely.
Dream vacation.
A dream vacation. Oh, I see. Okay. Role model, love, memories. Oh, bless you. Wow. Also, you're drawing your dream vacation. Where is it? Okay. Are
This
you,
is my dream vacation.
where is it? You going on the beach? Ah?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Lihat tiba.
They give you 5 minutes again.
Don't know.
No, but you draw it. You must be able to tell all the picture. Your story.
One day I went to the beach.
Uh-huh.
So when I went to the beach, I wasn't. I was 3 years old. My mother went to swim, and my mother asked me to take her seat. So I was resting on her seat, and then I took her place while drinking some orange juice. Some birds was flying above me, and I saw a coconut tree.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice coconut tree. Good job.
How can I tell my story?
I don't know what are you supposed to scan your story?
Oh no! Read my story. I want scan. Scan.
Wait I got to find the thing.
Why don't you find quickly? There.
Don't check.
Ouch! Hey. I looked at the beach.
Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for your active participation. If you wish to submit your submission,
I haven't shared yet.
you can click it on the scan on the QR code on the screen shown. Go back to the previous slide, please.
Right?
Or the submission link. Yeah. So you can scan it, or the submission link will be put in the comment section, and then we will be uploading it onto our Facebook and Instagram page. Okay. All right. We'll look forward to seeing your submissions. Thank you for your participation.
All right, so that is the end for all the 3 activities. You can submit all of your 3 activities, all the artwork that you did for all the 3 activities onto the submission link, or you can scan the QR code. So we also have some upcoming webinars that will be happening soon. So you can go ahead and check them out. This is the submission link. It will be in the chat, so don't worry. It's still there. You can always submit your artwork. So here are the upcoming webinars.
Okay, maybe we can give some time for them to scan this QR code if they wish to submit their artwork now.
Where's the link?
The link is in the chat box.
Actually, where's the link?
So you can either scan the QR code or you can go to the link we shared in the chat box.
the link?
This one.
Oh, okay. Scan the QR code or go to the link. Okay.
Okay. This one.
Ah, you said on. Or you said on. Oh my god.
So these are our upcoming webinars organized by Segi College Subang Jaya. So if you would like to join us, so we are sharing the details over here.
I would like to join you. Thank you.
All right, so before we end our session today, on behalf of Seki Group of Colleges, I would like to thank all of you for joining our forum today and stay connected, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Also,
Thank
don't
you,
forget to follow
everyone.
our Instagram and our Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Stay safe.
Thank you for
Bye.
participating, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Am I still lagging?
No, you're good.
Okay, I need to stop our live and YouTube first. Okay, I have ended our streaming in YouTube.